Welcome to the Resilient Mindset Podcast, an exciting new podcast by Resilience Queen, Justine Martin. Justine is the owner and founder of the Resilient Mindset, a division of the Justine Martin Corporation. Justine draws on her years of experience and knowledge consulting with clients to develop and sustain a positive mindset. Focused on igniting your passion, purpose and power, follow the Resilience Queen each week as she delves into the mind of her guests, exploring fascinating stories and inspiring journeys.
Ruby is an extraordinarily individual who has harnessed the power of her unique life journey to propel herself to remarkable heights. Overcoming the challenges of being born with a physical difference, she defied all odds and refused to succumb to a victim mentality. Instead, she transformed her perceived limitations into boundless opportunities for success and impact. Welcome back, listeners, to the Resilience Mindset Podcast. This morning I've got with me Ruby. How are you, Ruby?
I am so good, Justine. How are you?
I'm great. Now, Ruby, you're based, you want to tell the listeners where?
Yeah, I'm in Vegas, in Las Vegas, United States. Yeah.
It's where the heat is.
It is hot out today. A bit windy, but we're good.
I can handle the wind. I'm sitting here. What did we say it was? 4 degrees.
4.2.
At the moment, it feels like 2 degrees. It is so cold this morning. And, it takes resilience to get out of bed.
Oh, yeah.
When it's this cold, I just wanted to stay in and just snuggle in bed. I've got my flannelette sheets on. It's nice and warm.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into today's podcast, Ruby, shall we? You ready for the first question?
Hello?
Have you lost sound?
Okay. I think we're good. Okay,
We're
sorry
good?
about that.
That's okay. Okay, you ready for the first question, Ruby?
Yes, let's go.
What does resilience mean to you?
Resilience to me means just getting back up when something feels difficult or like you can't do it, trying it and failing because we're human, and then doing it again and again and again, and slowly you get better.
That's a good definition. Yeah, that's right. A bit like when we're learning to walk.
Mm-hmm.
People often ask me, is resilience something that you're born with or is it something that you learn? What do you think, Ruby?
Ooh. I think you're born with it and we just forget along the way.
I think it's both.
Yeah? Tell me more.
So I think we're born, I know that we're born with it because how do we learn how to walk?
Yeah.
You stand up for that first time, you fall down. You stand back up again and you take one step and you fall down. You stand back up again and you might take 2 steps or 3 steps and then you fall down again. Is that not being resilient every time you're standing back up, getting through the adversity of falling down? So that's something that, we are born in at a cellular level through our ancestors before us. Like most animals, they're born and they stand straight back up. That's being resilient. And then we learn resilience. We learn it from our parents. We learn it from our grandparents. We learn it from our teachers. We learn it from our peers.
Absolutely.
We learn coping mechanisms along the way.
Absolutely, that is very true.
There you go. Okay, so what's an adversity that you faced and how did you draw on your resilience to cope?
Yeah, so a little bit about me. I was born with a physical difference. So my left arm cuts off right at my elbow. And growing up, I had to figure out a lot of ways that worked for me. So growing up, just simply, I remember being in 4th grade and, that's when computer classes started in school. And remembering having to learn how to type differently than the other kids. Simply doing my hair differently because I am physically different. Having to learn things that may become very easily for someone that's fully abled. Having to find my own way of doing things, So it's always been something that almost second nature to me. I get asked the question of, well, do you ever like think your life would be easier if you had both arms? And it's like, I don't know, because I've always
Yeah.
had to figure things out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a girlfriend, she was involved in a
Mm.
quad bike accident, and she has lost the use of her right arm, and she's
Mm.
had to work out how to do things, including like she puts her own hair up, and I've
Yeah.
watched her do it. Uses the door frame
Yeah.
to put her hair up, and she's figured things out, and I'm like, that's so resilient to do that, and you would be the same, Ruby, finding out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We
Yeah.
got to get creative, you know?
Yeah, yeah, you do, and think outside that box, that square, and every day you must face challenges because of your disability. Is that right?
Absolutely. And I feel like I'm 27 now. So I've kind of gotten, I don't want to say used to it, but I've adapted very well. You know, growing up, my mom, my parents never al- allowed me, I guess, to see myself as different. Meaning, if
Yeah,
I wanted to play sports, if I wanted to do anything, I was allowed to do it with all the other kids. And if I needed to figure out a different way, then I would go to my mom and be like, hey, can we do this? But it was never something that she pushed on me. So I'm
yeah,
very grateful for that because now, you know, I've been living by myself since I was 18, and I've really adapted to that life of if I can't do something, I'll figure it out. But there is things that, you know, I still need help with, or my
yeah,
boyfriend supports me with. So it is interesting. Something new I've been doing is lifting weights, and like I have to figure out what works for me. So it's
yeah.
when it's those newer things that I want to try that it's like, oh, how am I going to do that? You know, but I say in the day to day life, I've gotten pretty used to a cycle that works for me.
That's fantastic. Who are your biggest role models in resilience?
Oh, oh, that's such a good question. So one, I would say my grandma. She is one of the most resilient humans I know. My mom, my grandmother, and I'm gonna say my first mentor that I had. She
Yeah,
taught me a lot about it, and um yeah, I would say those three people have really impacted my life when it comes to in close proximity. Let's say someone that I've never met but I just see and I'm like, wow, you're resilient. I would say, oh my god, her name is slipping right now from my brain.
that's all right. We
Yeah,
can
we'll
come
come
back to
back
it if
to
you
it.
remember. That sounds like me. I get MS brain farts and
Yeah.
can't remember.
Yeah.
Is there someone that inspires you?
Someone that inspires me. I feel like so many people inspire me, and it just depends on the topic we're talking about, right? So I have the people that inspire me in business. I have the people that inspire me in daily, day to day life. My boyfriend really inspires me here at home every single day, just watching him, you know, step into his power. And I
Mm,
have really close girlfriends that I just adore, and any time that they set their mind to it, it just really motivates me. And it's it's kind of funny to think about people that motivate me and inspire me because I am so lucky to be surrounded by so many people that are doing incredible things in this world, and
yeah,
it's just so amazing to witness.
that's amazing. What are your passions in life?
So I am so passionate about storytelling and sharing not only my story but inspiring other people to share their story. That's one of my passions. Another one of my passions is cooking. I love to cook, and
Yeah,
I wish like someday I will birth this creation online or something of starting my own cooking channel or something.
Well, there you go. You could do. You can do that on YouTube.
Exactly. So I might just start that. And then I love weightlifting. It's something that now I've become really,
Me
really passionate
too.
about. Oh, yes. So fun. You feel so strong in your body when you do it.
I've actually represented Australia in Olympic weightlifting.
Have you really?
Yeah, back in back in the day. The last time I walked on a platform internationally was 2016. So,
Oh
and
my.
because I have MS, so I'm
Mm,
disabled, and I took up weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting. I've been doing weightlifting
right.
for 22 years, but I took up Olympic weightlifting after I was diagnosed, and yeah, competed in the Oceanias and the Pacific Rim,
Wow.
representing Australia in 2016. Then, unfortunately, I got 3 primary cancers at once, and
Oh
that
no.
took me off the platform for a period of time. And um, I wanted to go back and compete in Olympic again, but um, I wouldn't pass the IOC drug laws because I take cannabis oil
Right.
by prescription, and that's a banned substance. So it's like, oh, it's all too hard to try and get a
Right.
medical exemption and that. So I stepped away from it and then went to compete in powerlifting, and then was all set for my first powerlifting comp again, to go back into powerlifting because I'd lifted in powerlifting before. And COVID happened.
Oh my
And
goodness.
none of us could lift at that stage. And then last year at the strength gym that I train at Strong Geelong, they had a couple of strongman events with
Oh,
an all abilities section. So this might be something, Ruby, you can look into because
yeah.
it's all around the world, is all abilities in strongman. And
Okay.
so those of us that are disabled can compete in that section. And I won 2 titles. Um,
Congratulations. That's incredible.
in the all abilities section. So I'm just sitting here looking at my
Oh
big
my.
trophy up in front of me. So strength is everything to me.
Mhm.
Going, I've got training this morning in about 2 hours.
Oh,
I
so
have
fun.
I have a personal trainer that I work with, or my coach,
Yeah.
and I go in 3 days a week, and
Mm,
it promotes a strong, healthy body, but also a strong, healthy mind. And that's
absolutely.
one of my coping mechanisms, that when, everything else is going to shit around me, I know that 3 times a week I can walk in that gym and train with him and come out feeling emotionally and physically better from it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then, the next couple of days I'm in agony because, I've got DOMS, delayed onset muscle spasms, but it's
Oh,
a good pain, not a bad pain, because it knows that I know that I'm actually doing something for my body. So
for
weightlifting is huge. I can
yeah.
so relate to that
Oh
one.
my goodness. I love that. I did not know there was an all abilities. That's
So
something.
look for it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely am because that's another thing. I want to accomplish so much in my life, and that's definitely one of them to like be in a competition because
Yeah.
lifting has changed my life absolutely. But yeah, I mean passions, weightlifting, cooking, reading, writing. I love writing. I've been writing since I was 7 and I'm slowly but surely working on my book. So we'll
Yeah.
get there.
You will, you will. Another one that you can look at as well, Ruby, is the Paralympic Games, and they do um, bench press.
Oh,
So if you can bench press, I
yeah,
don't know what you're capable of doing, but look at that one
I
as well because
definitely
that would be
will.
cool
Yeah.
to do that. So, how do you personally deal with setbacks, Ruby?
So sometimes I cry a lot. I'm such a crier. We love crying in this household. And then I allow myself to feel the emotions. And I don't know how spiritual you are, but I'm very spiritual. So I will go into meditation or breath
Yeah,
work or journaling. And then I try again. I wait
yeah,
for the answer and I try again. And if that doesn't work, I'll try a different way. And if that doesn't work, then sometimes I'm like, I'm not going to do this anymore. But then I get back to it eventually, or sometimes I just don't. But yeah, that's probably the process. I cry about it, then I meditate on it, do some breath work, and then do it again.
Yeah, and adapt and modify if it doesn't work that way to start with. You know, you can adapt and modify
Absolutely.
for it. If that's the way you've always done it and now it's not working, well then adaptation is the key to it.
Absolutely. One of my
So
favorite quotes is it, what you've been doing can only get you as far as you.
yeah.
I'm like butchering that quote, but like you've gotten here doing the things you've done so far, but that doesn't mean they're going to get you to the next level.
No.
And so I just live by that. And also like asking people that maybe know how to do it better than you. Get your
Mm.
network, see who knows someone that could help you out.
Yeah, and I've been talking about this a lot lately, that asking for support, asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign
No.
of strength.
Absolutely. I did a whole podcast episode on that about a year ago, or 2 years, almost 3 years ago, because it was when my grandpa passed away. And, he passed away because he wouldn't ask for help. He always told everyone that he was fine. And that was the biggest lesson of
Yeah.
strength
Yeah.
is not asking for help. That is
Asking
weakness.
for help is a sign of strength.
Absolutely is. Absolutely is.
You have to be strong to ask for it and strong to accept it.
Yeah.
And I never used to ask for help, and then
Right.
became disabled and still didn't ask for help for a period of time, and
Yeah.
then now asking for help on things that I can't do anymore makes my life so much easier.
Absolutely. I can
So
relate
much,
to that so
yeah,
much. Being born with my difference, I was like, well, if I ask for help, people are going to assume I can't do it by myself or that I'm not strong enough. So,
yeah.
yeah, I relate to that.
Tell me about a time when you had to deal with a major crisis, and how did you get through it?
Hmm. Major crisis. So, so many come to mind. Okay. So I want to say the first one that I'll talk about this one when I first moved in by myself, and
Yep.
it was a lot of adjusting and figuring out what I could do, what I can't do, because living at my parents, it was so easy to be like, oh, I can't. Sorry, my puppy. I can't open a certain thing and just like asking for help with it, or like I can't do a certain thing and asking for help. And I think when I moved out, I was 18, I was going to college. Um, I think that was probably the biggest crisis of, yeah, just like having to figure out how to navigate the grown up world by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that's daunting for able-bodied people, let alone when you're disabled.
absolutely.
I've recently had arm surgery, so for nearly 3 years, it's been an issue. My
Yeah.
right arm, caused through domestic violence, and with having surgery, I wasn't allowed to use my right arm at all for anything. And so I can sympathize for the short term on what it was like, and just opening up a bottle of juice, or
Mm-hmm.
couldn't wear jeans
Yeah.
because I couldn't zip them up and get the button done up. So I was like, oh, well, I'm going to have to wear pull-on pants for,
Yeah.
tracksuit pants or leggings or something for a period of time. Lucky it was over summer as well, and I could wear
Good.
skirts
Good.
and dresses. But yeah, just all those little things. And I couldn't even, like, I could put the microwave dinner in because I couldn't
Uh,
cook, because I couldn't cut anything up properly without
right.
like nearly slicing my hand off, because I'm not good on the left hand. And then I couldn't get the bloody foil, the
Oh my
plastic thing
goodness.
off the top of the microwave
Yep.
meals. And it's like, how do other people do this that have one arm?
Right. It's the little things that I feel we don't think about, or fully able people don't think about. at all. And it's like trying to figure out, like I said, a lot of things I'm like, I grew up doing. So I've adapted well, but
Yeah.
living by yourself is just a whole nother layer of, oh my God, now it's up to me to figure it out.
Yeah, because your parents would have done a lot for you without you realizing that they were actually doing it as well.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden now you've got to do it yourself. So
Yeah.
yeah, I know my girlfriend as well. Because she was married, so her husband did a lot for her,
Mm-hmm.
and then she moved back in with her mum and dad, and they did a lot. And she's got two little boys,
Oh,
and so she's looking after them by herself. So
wow.
and doing an amazing job as well. So you do adapt and you do modify.
Absolutely.
What do you do to practice self-care and personal wellness? So we've spoken
Mm.
about a couple of things.
Yeah. So self care for me looks different depending on my mood. Sometimes it's a bath with candles and just like me time. Sometimes self care looks like binge watching a reality TV show.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's meditating for an hour. Sometimes it's literally going into a boxing class. It
Yeah.
just depends on where my mindset is at. But staples for my self care is definitely skincare. I love taking care of my skin, reading,
Mhm.
podcasts, listening to
Yeah.
podcasts. And I'm going to say, like, being on the phone with my mom and my sister. That's a form of self care for me, just connecting with
Yeah.
family. And then the other one was wellness or
Yeah. Yeah. So the other part of the question was personal wellness.
yeah, so with personal wellness, the gym,
Yeah.
weightlifting, I love taking walks with my puppy and my partner.
What
Um,
kind of puppy have you got?
I have a Pomeranian.
Cute.
Yeah, she's 11 years old, and I'm surprised she hasn't started barking because as soon as I sit down to do a podcast, she's like talkative.
Those.
Yeah.
She's locked outside the room at the moment.
Oh, I love it. What's yours?
I've got a mini dachshund,
Oh, how
a
cute.
little mini sausage dog, and I wrote and illustrated a children's book on her
So cute.
called Same, Same But Different, and it's
Oh.
available on Amazon. And it's all about inclusion and equality. So
Oh, I
she
love
was
it.
she treats everyone the same, and we run a disabled art studio here, and she
So
treats all the clients exactly the same. She doesn't see any difference from able-bodied to disabled, and
mhm.
that gave me the inspiration behind the book.
Oh,
So
that's so beautiful. Yeah,
yeah,
art is definitely a massive piece in my life too, just painting, drawing, writing, music. I've been doing music since I was a little girl, so definitely anything that could get me out of my head and into my body, into my soul. I consider that wellness. Journaling's a big part. I released a journal I was telling you about earlier.
yes.
So like just anything that's creative, I consider it self-care and like taking care of my body and my soul.
And it's so important to do that.
Oh,
That helps build resilience. So when you're facing an adversity, you've got those things, those happy place things that can help you through it and take you into a better mindset from that. What's your favorite movie that features a person's inner strength to get up?
oh. Um, oh, okay. So this one's more of an indie film, but it's called Beyond the Loss.
Yeah.
And it is with his name is Jason Schneider. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. But he was in a car wreck and he lost his arm
Yeah.
and I believe his leg, if I remember correctly. And so getting back into his passion of cars was a journey, and he documented that whole journey. And it's on that
Oh.
movie. And, you know, he's the film director and like all of it, but it's powerful. So
So
definitely,
what's it called? Beyond the Loss.
yes, Beyond the Loss. I think it's on Amazon Prime. or yeah, I think that's where it is at. But that's such a powerful, powerful movie because you see his journey of that recovery of him finding himself again.
Wow,
Mhm.
that sounds amazing. What's a quote that you live by?
Quote. It is from the Cinderella story movie. And it
Mm,
is, don't let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
That it is. What job position have you loved the best and why?
Oh, probably the one I have currently because I am self-employed. I have my own company, but I get to live every single day by my impact and like my mission and my purpose in this lifetime, which is to remind humans the power of their voice, the power of their story, and how to utilize that,
Mm,
and bringing that reminder to the souls that are in this lifetime is just so magical, and I am so passionate about it. So yeah, what I'm doing right now with my company and with my content creation of just showing people that if I can do it with 1.5 arms, anyone is possible, or anything is possible for anybody, regardless of their quote unquote flaws.
yeah, that's right. I mean, we all have flaws. No one is perfect and no one is normal.
Exactly. What is normal?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Have you faced a time when you've been in survival mode?
Mm. Ooh. Well, I don't know if this counts as survival mode, but I went kayaking with my boyfriend's family about 2 years ago, and we kind of like jumped out of the kayak just to like swim around, but we were approaching a waterfall, and like I had to get back in, and we really struggled till the last minute. So it was like my boyfriend's dad pulling me and me trying to not drown or fall down the waterfall, you know? So,
How did that affect you afterwards?
um, I probably have not gotten what, like, probably would not get out of a boat kayak thing after that. Like, that's terrifying, even though I love water and I love swimming. But now that I'm thinking about it, I had never stopped to think about the after effects. Probably that of like how terrifying was that. And yeah, yeah, just
That would have been terrifying.
I have
Yeah.
to sit with that one a little bit more because I'm not sure about the after effects.
Sorry if I've triggered something today, Ruby,
No, I
in
love
that
it. More
one.
to journal on.
That's right, Maud. So do you journal a lot?
Yeah, so I journal every single day and in the morning and at night. And
Yeah.
throughout the day, I'm just like writing little notes to myself of like how I'm feeling, how I'm doing. Yeah, my deep journaling is done in the morning though.
That's good. What guides you to find purpose and direction?
What got me to find that?
Yeah.
So, ever since I was little, when I started like writing music and poetry, I was 7, and I've always wanted to make people feel something, whether that was happiness, sadness, anger, whatever, just emotion. And so that was when I was young. At 18, I moved out by myself. I went to Los Angeles to pursue music, and I was in the music industry doing that thing for a bit. But that led to a deep depression, which is a whole other story. So I quit that. But I never lost that deep knowing that I was put on this earth the way I was made
Mm.
for a reason to come and make people feel something through my story, through my experiences. And so it wasn't until I was at a retreat about a month ago, and I was deep in my meditation during one session. And my dad, who passed away in 2020 from COVID, he came to me and he told me very, very clearly, your purpose on this earth is to use the power of your voice and share it with the world. Because I was already doing that with my clients, but I wasn't practicing that. And so when he came and he literally told me, when I was alive, I did not have the power to use my voice and express what I needed. So now it is your purpose to find that for yourself, heal the generational patterns, and heal the entire world, but those around me through it. And so, yeah, this purpose, even though it's something I've had since I was a little girl, was very, very much anchored in about a month ago.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I wish you well with all of that.
Thank you so
Can't
much.
wait to see what you do in the future. Tell me about the 3 most influential people in your life and how they've impacted you.
Yeah. So with my grandma, she just watching her, I'm Latina, she's Mexican. And so watching her navigate the world as a housewife to now my grandpa who passed away, and having 10 children and basically devote her whole life to her family, to her house, and now watching her discover herself after my grandpa's passing, that was just a deeper layer of resilience that I saw in her. Of, you've been through all this and you are still figuring it out for yourself, finding what makes you happy. So that is with my grandma, with my mom. She is one of the strongest women I've ever met in my life. She basically raised my sister and I by herself. Not really, my dad was kind of involved, but she basically raised us by herself. She was young. She was 27 when she had me, which I guess is not that young, but pretty young. And just everything she has created, and now being her age when she had me, it's just kind of like, oh wow, like she was figuring it out as we went. And I've had many conversations with her that have really put into perspective the reality of what she was living and what she allowed my sister and I to witness. And we had the most beautiful childhood that I would have never guessed what was going on with her. And
Wow.
so she is definitely one of the strongest women I know. And then the third person, I'm going to say my boyfriend. He is one of the most influential people in my life. And just watching him become the version of him that he is. We've been together for almost 8 years now. We got together when we were teenagers. Yeah, that had no idea what we were doing, moved in together. And just watching the growth he's done with himself, with, our pets, and just watching the man that he's become is so, so inspiring to me.
That's beautiful to hear that, Ruby. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. If you could go back and give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be? Now, that's not very far
Yeah.
from where you are now. I realize that. For some of us, it's like a distant memory. But for you, Ruby, what would you go back and say to your former 18-year-old self?
Yeah. So a couple things. One is own your truth. Don't let anyone burn your truth. Don't let anyone influence your own opinion, because it matters.
Yes.
It truly matters. And the second one would be, although it worked out, do not move in with your partner so quickly. Yep. Those 2 pieces of advice I would tell myself at 18.
To wait.
Just wait. There's no rush. You're good.
Yeah. Mine would be, don't marry him.
There you go.
Oh, don't marry him.
So you got married at 18.
No, I got married at 27.
Oh,
I think.
okay.
Yeah, I was 27, but it would be like, yeah, don't marry him. when
Great
it
advice.
comes into your life, don't marry him. So mine would be, it's not about perfection, it's about persistence.
Oh, I like that one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I live by now as well. I constantly, because I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah,
It's like, it's not about being perfect. It's just about being persistent and showing up every day and giving it your best. Because
absolutely.
if you wait for things to be perfect in your life to do things, it'll never happen.
You'll never do it. And one time, one of my mentors told me, because we were talking about like YouTube and stuff, and she goes, if your first video is perfect, you started way too late. You should be
Yes.
embarrassed by your first video when you look back on it a year from now. And I was like, oh, got it.
Yeah, she's right.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now we're going to do some fun questions.
Okay.
Oh, actually, before we do that, what are 3 books you'd recommend to my audience and why?
Ooh, okay. So The Power of Now. That's at
Yep.
the top of my list. Why? Because it really helps you get back into your body and stop thinking about the future and the past, which are just in our brain because it's not real. The only reality we have is currently what's happening in this moment. So that is the first one.
Yep.
And the second one, I would say, oh my god, it's about the alter ego effect, but that's not what it's called. Okay, let me think of another one because I cannot remember the name of that one. The next one I'm gonna say Going Wild by Jessica Wilde. It's a autobiography, but I would recommend that book to anyone because it shows you that regardless of where you're coming from, regardless of what situations you put yourself as a young dumb teenager, you always have the option to change who you have created to become the version of you that you were meant to be. And the third one, I am going to say there's so many good books I've read. Oh, do, do you want me to keep it in like real life books or like fiction books are cool too?
Whatever you want to recommend.
Okay, so there is another. Why am I forgetting the name of all these books? I am reading one right now. Oh my gosh, hold on. I have to remember the name of it because it's a really, really good one.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second so I can think of it.
Ruby's just looking it up for those of you out there in listening land at the moment. I'm reading a book at the moment about becoming a transformational speaker.
Oh.
So, learning new things about writing my talks for keynote speaking and journaling and a book and everything else. So I'm heavily into that one at the moment. So I do a mixture of reading books and then also listening to Audible as
Yeah,
well. So I'll be in the studio painting and listening to an audio book rather than listening to music. And mix it up that way.
absolutely. Okay.
Ruby's still looking for it.
I'm like, I cannot even find it, so I'm just gonna pick another one. Um, okay, so I said The Power of Now, and then I said Going Wild, and the third one I'm going to say is Oh Shift by Nicole Sylvester, another autobiography, but same concept. It's just about regardless of where you come from and the choices you've made in the past, you always have the power to change and to evolve and to make new decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Most definitely. That sounds like a very powerful book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, quirky questions. If you won $10 million tomorrow, what would you spend it on?
I would build a recording studio.
Ooh. And would you record you singing, or what would you record?
A podcast studio, a podcast recording studio.
I reckon you'd have some change after
Probably.
building that. Yeah.
Probably.
I
Yeah.
think it'd cost you 10 million to build one.
Yeah, probably not. So that and helping my mom, like just helping her get a house and just taking care of her.
Nice.
Yeah.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Paris, France, that place has my heart.
Nice. What was your favorite subject in school?
English.
Yeah. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Absolutely.
Yay, I knew we could be friends.
I love it. Yes.
What's your favorite pizza?
I love mushrooms on pizza, pineapple on pizza, and sometimes pepperoni. Like half pepperoni, half mushrooms and pineapple.
Mine is in Australia, we have what's called an Aussie. Have you heard of an Aussie?
No, what's on it?
So that's it's bacon and egg pretty much.
Ooh.
And I put pineapple on it as well.
Okay.
And I put mushrooms on it, and then I throw some pepperoni on there, and I throw a bit of chicken on there, and a bit of garlic on there, and a bit of chili flakes on there. Yeah.
Okay.
And after it to be double cooked with an extra egg on it.
Oh, I'll have to try that someday. I don't think we have that here.
No, tell them to put an egg on it. Scramble up an egg and drizzle the egg over them. Oh, so good.
Yeah, I might just order pizza and make the egg here myself and just.
Yeah, you just drizzle it over.
I love
it. Tea, coffee, hot chocolate, or wine?
Not coffee. Sorry. Tea.
Tea. How do you have your tea?
I love tea just itself with water, just hot. Yeah.
Yep. So just black tea.
Yeah, just black tea. I love adding flavor sometimes. So peach black tea, delicious.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to caffeine, so I'll take your word on that one. Okay, so where can my listeners... Oh, hang on, before I do that one. What's one question you'd wish that I'd asked you and I didn't?
Oh, I wish you would have asked me... what is the most difficult thing for me to do with my difference?
What is the most difficult thing for you to do, Ruby, with your difference?
Picking my hair up. I still cannot do it. I cannot make a ponytail on myself, so I just got my boyfriend to do it.
I will send you Amy's video on how she does it, and she uses a chair like this.
Okay.
All right, and she puts her hair over and she grabs it all, and she has the hairband on her hand here, and then she goes up to the door, to the wall where the walls meet, the corner, and she uses that, and that pushes the hairband over her hair, and she gets it up.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, send me that video.
I will. I'll find it. Yeah, definitely. Amazing how she's learned how to do things. Because, and the reason why I asked her was when my arm was incapacitated, and I'm like, how do you get your hair up every day? Because I was having to get someone else to put it up for me as well.
Oh, I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah. So I've told her to get online and share these things on YouTube and social media, because other people need to know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so my last question is, where can my listeners find you online? How can people contact you, Ruby? So
I am all over social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, all of it. And it's just my name at Ruby Skilton, RubiSkilton.
And we'll put all those details in the show notes as well, for people to locate you. And do you want to give your business a bit of a plug there, Ruby, what you actually do?
Oh, absolutely. So I have a podcast agency. So we help people with the launch of their podcast or the production and management of their podcast. And there is a podcast course for anyone out there that wants to start a podcast and start sharing their voice and their story through on that company. It's called Podcast and Co. So on Instagram, we're Podcast and Co. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Well, Ruby, thank you so much for coming on today to the Resilience Mindset podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure in hearing about your journey and where you are in life at the moment.
Thank you, Justine. It's been so fun connecting with you and talking with you.
Likewise. And remember, listeners, until next time, you stay resilient.
Are you ready to be inspired? Get ready for the book that will touch your heart and ignite your spirit. Whispers of Resilience, Personal Stories of Living with MS is now available for purchase. Have you ever wanted to peek into the lives of individuals who have triumphed over adversity? Look no further. This highly anticipated anthology brings together a group of exceptionally talented authors, all living with multiple sclerosis, who share their personal journeys with unyielding honesty and vulnerability. At www.resiliencemindset.com.au, you can now secure your copy of this remarkable book that captures the essence of resilience, hope, and the power of the human spirit. Dive into the stories that will captivate your imagination and open your heart to the triumphs and challenges faced by these courageous individuals. With each turn of the page, you'll witness the unbreakable spirit of these authors, as they navigate the unpredictable terrain of MS. Their words will inspire you, uplift you, and remind you of the incredible strength that lies within. Visit www.resiliencemindset.com.au now and embark on a transformative journey through the pages of Whispers of Resilience. Get your copy today.
We hope you enjoyed the Resilience Mindset podcast. Remember to subscribe to the podcast to get your weekly fix listening to Resilience Queen Justine Martin. Follow Justine on social media at Resilience Mindset or log on to justinemartin.com.au. And until next time, remember, life doesn't get easier or more forgiving. We get stronger and more resilient.